Good day. And first, let me say to you, on this day, happy Valentine's Day. Or, as some people in my family used to say, Valentine's Day. I don't know why, but I heard that. Like birthday. I got a lot of birthdays. Happy birthday. And I welcome you to this. And I want you to know that I recognize that, for the most part, what I do every day, daily, is a complete and total waste of time. Because I don't believe, for the most part, that anything that I intend to accomplish is even remotely accomplished in terms of the thinking that I would like to inspire, the reactions that I would like to inspire, and that which I would hope I would invoke and evoke in terms of people. I don't think that happens at all. I think I'm from another planet. Interesting. And I don't think that my view of the world is popular. I don't think that the way I see things is considered interesting by many. I just don't, and I accept that fact. I think my music, what I think is rational, what I think is funny, my view of the world is completely different and alien. And I want to say one thing first, because it's important for you to understand that I at least address this. I will not be discussing anything involving balloons, mysterious aircraft, UFOs, EBEs, and the like. I will not, because it is a waste of time. I will not be discussing that. I do on my private channel, which I've linked. I go into great detail. For over 20 years, I've studied it more and know more. I know this for a fact, know more, at least as what's been recorded, than 98% of anybody that I know. But it's a waste of time. It is a waste of time. And I recognize that there are some things that don't inspire collective interest. I recognize that. And I don't fit in. I am an alien. Feeling like I don't belong. It's a great Ronnie Hammond from ARS intoned Atlanta Rhythm Section. I'm sorry. I just know this. Now, before we begin, let me remind you that it is important and imperative for you to like this video, to subscribe to the channel, and to hit that little bell. You know it, and I know it. We'll be talking about our sponsors later on. Please review our sponsors who are we need them and appeal to them and respect them so much. Our friends from Z-Stack, My Patriot Supply, EMP Shield, and My Pillow. We'll be talking more about that later on as we discuss this. But they are there in this information section below. Now, let's talk about this. First, we are a country that loves to mock. We love to mock and debunk. We love this. I have no time for that. Some of the greatest things ever actually occurred by virtue of somebody trying something that really that started off kind of strange. For example, Anton van Leeuwenhoek. This is the fellow who invented the microscope. Did you ever hear his story? And the Dutch or the Danish or whoever they were very good at optics and inverting things and putting lenses together. And he looked and he said, hey, look at this. Look at what I'm able to find right now. Look at what I'm able to find and learn in this pond water. Remember this? Remember this story? It's true. This is after 350 years, about 350 years ago, lens grinder and scientist Anton, I got it right, van Leeuwenhoek, peered into his microscope at a sample of pond water, and they thought he was drunk. They thought he was out of his mind. They thought he was crazy. He said, what are you talking about? This is nuts. What? Little critters? And so you always are met by people who say, this guy's crazy. We love to do that. We love to do it. It's what we do. It's our pastime. We love to do it. Except religion. Well, our own religion, not other people's. We love to do this. There are people called skeptics who spend their life basically poo-pooing everything. And you miss things because somebody will come along and they will just say things, whether it's history. You know the story. Who was the fellow who, upon hearing and realizing that the British were coming, rode 2 days on horseback? Went through 2 horses, 2 days, from Boston to Philadelphia to alert. Remember the post road and everything? To alert them that the British were coming. And people will always say, Paul Revere. Because that's what you were told. Paul Revere. It wasn't Paul Revere. It was Israel Bissell. Who? See? Remember this? Why did Columbus sail the ocean blue? To see if the world was round. Remember that? Remember that? We had globes since the time of Socrates. Eratosthenes figured this out. What are you talking about? But that's what we were told. And we repeat this. And the thing that we don't want to do is to be laughed at. So we will repeat that which is accepted because we don't want to be laughed at. So I am not even going to waste my time discussing anything about balloons and shooting things down and UFOs. Absolutely not here. Waste of time. It's a waste of time because people get nervous and they have to joke about it. And it's what we have to do. We don't know anything. And here's the best part. You'll never hear anybody say, I don't really know anything about this. I don't know the history of it. I just kind of sit back and think, well, maybe, I don't know, sort of. I'm going to tell you something it's a true story. I have a friend of mine, absolutely true. He was I don't know if he still is, but he's a commercial pilot. I'm not going to mention the airline. And he said he was traveling, or he was with an old timer. I asked him one time, I said, what do you think about people like, Tom Cruise supposedly is a jet pilot. He's a jet pilot. And John Travolta flies his own jet, that kind of a thing. What do you think about that? He said, there's a lot of people, he said, that are jet pilots. He said, but I don't know if I want to go up with them. Not them in particular, but just somebody who knew me. He said, the thing that I know is I got a bigger bag of tricks. I know. I've seen more. I can handle different things. I don't have to go through a manual. I know it. I've seen things. They haven't seen it yet. I've flown more. So consequently, I've seen stuff. And I know more, more experience, but also, but tricks though. It's not so much just being able to say, I've been doing this longer. I know emergencies and false alarms and that sort of thing. But he said, I'll tell you this story, which is very interesting. And he said, he was flying one day, and there was kind of an old timer with him. And he said, son, there's one button in this cockpit that'll get you fired. And my friend is looking around. There's nothing but buttons. Nothing. And it's killing him. He says, okay, I give up. What is it? What button will get me fired? and he pulls up the microphone, especially the cockpit microphone he goes, this one here. He says, whatever you see, whatever you observe, keep it quiet. Unless, of course, a plane flies by. Other than that, nobody wants to hear you, because if you say the wrong thing, you'll be grounded. You will be removed. Nobody will dare risk you and a plane if you're seeing the wrong thing. So just remember, nobody wants to hear what you have to say if it's the wrong thing. Just remember that. And I'll never forget that. Never forget that. Now, you can take this any way you want. You can listen to it. But I guarantee you, and I'm going to say this to you, and I say it with all due respect, you are probably like 90% of the people. You love to mock. You love it. It's fun. It's, people call it trolling and it's fun. So consequently, nobody is in any mood to say, well, let's review these things. The story that is the most fascinating today, as I have said repeatedly, this Valentine's Day, or Valentine's, is love, human love. If I met somebody from another planet, another star system, and by the way, these ideas where people say, they're so far. In order for something to travel here, it would take thousands of light years. I'm just going to let it go. I say, really? Okay. Because they've never heard anything, or anyway. But if I were to say to somebody, let's say they say, tell me something about humans. Tell me the thing that you find to be interesting. And I said, the most interesting is love. Human, romantic, erotic, but love, romantic love, not sexual attraction, love. It is the most interesting thing, and nobody talks about it. We use the word a lot. I love this, I love this, I love the fit, I love the Super Bowl, I love falafel, I love whatever, I love. No. Take two people who have nothing in common. Not genetically, we hope. Don't look alike, different branches of, whatever lineage. And they have walked the earth and they've passed other people and they say, no. And they may have had moments of erotic allure or maybe moments of infatuation, whatever. It happens. Maybe after certain ages, usually, typically. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, it's like they used to have these things. I've never seen it. I've heard about it. With these minute dating where you go and you sit for like a minute or 5 minutes or whatever it is, and then you move and somebody else sits down and you look at each other and then all of a sudden you say, hey. And you stop and say, wait a minute, what's this hey? What's going on here? That one. What's with that one? I don't know. Is it his or her hair color? No, maybe, no. Is that it? Because there's some other hair. No, it's not the hair. Is it race? Is it gender? Is it height? Is it weight? Is it no? Because there are other people here who no. It's something. I don't know what it is. It's the most fascinating thing there is. The most fascinating subject there is. And then it happens. You fall in love. Nobody talks about it. Men never talk about it. No. That's not a male subject, prototypically. Oh, I fell in love. Come on. Take it easy. Oh, no, you don't understand. Stop it. I got it. Yeah, I'm married. Yeah, no. It's just not, it's considered in some respects weakness or abandonment or something. I don't know what. Then you will hear it differently from women. Listen. Falling in love. And then sometimes, and I'm explaining this. I said, no, each of these people, the male and the female, or same sex, could be, whatever, but typically, prototypically, they have made their minds up. They have traversed. They have said, this is an infatuation. I want to go into marriage or permanency. This permanent linking up. Theoretically permanent. Theoretically today. Theoretically. Yeah, probably, but, because nobody really believes in the permanency of marriage. It doesn't exist anymore because of no-fault divorce and other things too. But they start. And it is, at first, an obsessive, compulsive disorder. That's favorable. It's an OCD, which is favorable. Bacteria can either cause sepsis or E. coli can give you gut health. Bacteria can give you Roquefort cheese. It can give you, it's wonderful, penicillin. Wonderful. Bacteria is terrific. It helps in the decomposition. It's a cycle of life. Bacteria is wonderful unless you get it and then it kills you. Depends. Everything's in balance. And OCD can be this wonderful thing. And what's even more fascinating about it is that it is not familial. I understand a woman's love for a child. I understand a parent's love for a child, father. But this is two people who have nothing in common, who combine in this new unit that is not necessarily required for the perpetuation of the species. This is not about reproduction. I mean, it is, but not really. This is different. This is something that soothes the human. It acts as an emollient for human interaction. It's not about babies. I mean, not love though. You don't need love to have babies. It's not it. It's different. And two people can absolutely lose their minds over this. It's an addiction that knows no. It's the weirdest thing. It can be happy. Other people can go from crazy love to wanting to kill each other. Sometimes, very rarely, it happens. And other people can act like, it happened. Sometimes it gives you a degree of PTSD, sort of. We talk about it. We sing about it. We have a day like this. And I don't know, because I'm not familiar, I don't hang around enough Gen Zers. I don't know if we're still going to be having romantic and prototypical love in the future. I don't know if people date, court, write love letter. I have no idea. I have no idea. It is the most fascinating thing that we do, and nobody will talk about it. Do not expect anybody on any cable news network to talk about it. Do not expect anybody, because you just take it for granted. Because you've heard about it so long, you've never thought about it. And the most interesting things are things that are right before you. I told you before about quantum mechanics, about string theory, about how somebody said, I've been seeing gravity my whole life. We've seen stuff, fall, forever. What's the big deal? Gravity had them going crazy forever. Even Newton said, well, I've got some rules for you. I've got some laws. I don't know how this works. I don't know why. String theory on 11 dimensions? Wait a minute. What? Over something that's just as simple as that? Yeah. Where the 9th, 10th, and 11th are basically folded up. I mean, this is wild. But nobody ever talks about love. Nobody ever is, sort of. We talk all around it, but we've never looked at it. Never. It is the most dangerous thing. The potential is incredible. The potential for good, the potential for greatness, and then love is over here, but then it turns into marriage. That's another story. We'll talk about that some other day. But love is like a gun. I believe in love, and I believe in the beauty of it, and I believe in the Second Amendment. But I tell most people you should not possess a firearm because you've never thought about it, and you probably should not be getting married, and you definitely should not be having children. That's my advice for most people. Even though the concept of it, the concept is beautiful, most people should not be able to, and they think it's a one-size-fits-all type of thing. And you will never hear anybody even discuss it. There is a woman on YouTube who has done 400,000 YouTubes on narcissism. What is a narcissist? What isn't a narcissist? What is a narcissist versus a psychopath? What's a sociopath versus a psychopath versus a narcissist? And this is over and over. Very interesting. But after a while, it's like, I got it. Can we get it? Anyway. Never hear anything about love. Never. Never. It's just understood. It's kind of like, well, love. Love, that's nice. That's nice. Love is nice. No. You ever thought about it? I thought about it. Whatever, I don't know. Sort of. You ever hear these stories about people who've been married for 50, 60 years, and one dies, and then the other one dies like right afterwards? Have you ever seen a couple who've been together for 50, 60 years, like grandmas and grandpas and that sort of thing? They may look to you sometimes like they're miserable. Are they really? You don't know. Rule number 1, never ever question somebody else's relationship. Never, never, never act surprised when they get a divorce. Never act surprised when they stay together. You have no idea. It's the most fascinating thing that today nobody's going to be talking about because we don't talk about things. We don't talk about things. Like I told you, you do not want to hear anything about extraterrestrial, nothing. You don't want to hear about it. You don't. Because that involves, do you want to hear the history of it? No. Don't you want to know about it? No. I just want my little, I just want to react. Okay. So if I were to explain love to this alien, he'd say, I don't understand it. What's the purpose? You don't need love for procreation. You don't need love for perpetuation of a species. You do need maternal love. That's an instinct because I don't know about you, but I've seen women who've had the emotional range of an infant who all of a sudden become a mother and they're, oh my God, they're like super moms. Or do you ever meet sometimes a girl, maybe it's a sister or cousin, who everything was like, ew, everything was gross, everything was icky. They have a baby and all of a sudden they're smelling diapers and weighing diapers and they're looking at stuff and nothing bothers them. Something happens, whether it's oxytocin, whether it's, I don't know what, because it's the old instinct versus learned behavior part. It's fascinating. Watch what happens to a mother. It's wild. A mother abandoning a child, one of the rarest things you've ever seen. Fathers come and go. A mother, incredible. So what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friend, is just look around. You want to talk about balloons? Go ahead. The most fascinating stuff is right in front of you. You don't even realize why you're doing it. You've never given it a thought. And today, Valentine's, go to a card shop. They have this. Where did this heart shape come from? Does that look like a heart? Where did that come from? I guarantee you nobody will ever look up and say, well, I'll find it out. I'll find out the etymology of that shape. You won't do that because you're not trained to do that. You sit back and you're like this. And the most you will ever do is you pick up something like this, maybe a phone, and you'll look at it and say, I'll maybe go like this or like that, but that's it. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I have no curiosity. If it's there, it's there. Give me a meme. Give me a GIF. Give me something moving. That's it. Somewhere along the line, there are people like me who stay up at night wondering about this. Wondering. I have so many couples. There's one in particular, Mrs. L and I were talking about. I am fascinated. I look back and I say, do you see what's happening here? Nobody else does. They don't. When you have children, when you have young people, there was a time when people would love songs, love letters, courtship. The courtship of Eddie's father. No, the courtship. Wooing, seduction, dating, flirting, human contact. It was part of who we were. Love songs that are just today. I don't know. I kind of turn, I can't. But I don't know enough about current music. But I would venture to say we don't have anything that we used to regarding music. Remember Bread, Diary. Remember the song Diary? I found a diary underneath a tree and read words about me. He thinks he's reading about her, talking about him. It's not. It's the other guy. And he goes crazy. Beautiful. Listen to Greg Lake from Works, ELP Works. Greg Lake, Peter Sinfield. Lend Your Love to Me Tonight. Oh my God. Nick Drake. Stop. Northern Sky. Never knew magic as crazy as this. Oh my God. The songs and the heart. I hope we still have that. I don't know. Let me stop right now and tell you about something which is so critical. And I hope you're listening. Have you been following what's been happening lately regarding food? Are you following what's happening regarding food? Remember what I told you, and remember what I've said. And a lot of people are saying the things that are the most important: food, water, energy. Food. Have you ever gone for long periods of time? On a regular day, my normal, because I've changed drastically, my normal cycle from what you would call lunch to breakfast is 18 hours. I'm on a modified fast anyway. That's just the way I live. I feel the best because we eat too much. I have a friend of mine, he said, you do what? I said, yeah. My last meal of the day maybe is 11 o'clock, 11:30. Next morning, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 in the morning. That's it? That's it. 18 hours. Mm-hmm. He looked at me like, he'll die. You won't die. Now, I said, what would you do if for some reason you can't get to the store? What would you do? See, because you act differently. When food stops for you, you go crazy. To you, I said, you'll commit seppuku. Because your idea. So do you have food storage? No. I said, if anybody needs it, you go crazy if you can't eat. If he has to eat, missing dinner, impossible. Impossible. And a lot of people are like that. That's why My Patriot Supply is here for you. And right now you can save $250 on a 3-month emergency food kit. And just go to preparedwithlionel.com. Preparedwithlionel.com. That is the link. You're like a lot of people. Could you go a day? I think the most I've ever gone Well, actually, I fasted with him years ago. It was about a week. It was water and broth, and I don't recommend that. It's kind of crazy at first, but 2 days. 2 days will really get you. It does something to you spiritually, but no. Because everybody now is into fasting, and it's a wonderful thing. But to other people, they can't imagine it. And that's why they have to make sure, in particular, and don't feel bad if you're like the emergency food. Can you handle 90 days? How about a week? Can you handle a week? Let's say every store in your neighborhood was shut, or your whatever. And everybody's going to each one, clearing everything out, and you walk in and there's nothing. Remember when you sometimes you see like no water on the shelf? Oh my God. Water's a different story. We'll talk about that. So preparewithlionel.com. Here is the link. It's My Patriot Supply. It is the most obvious thing that I implore you to purchase. Now, I said food, water, and what was the third one? Ah, yes, energy. Now, I don't have to tell you, with all that is going on right now, in the event of an EMP blast, and that blast could be from some coronal alpha Carrington class event, something that just happens momentarily, and you are fried. Everything is fried. Well, let me tell you something right now. An EMP would destroy all the electronics that you depend on in your society. It will completely change your world as you know it. And I think that about says it. Now, EMP Shield is a veteran-owned company out of the Midwest. And they've invented a device that you can hook up to your vehicle. Please read. They have more. I love to tell you the FAQs, and you can imagine. It's undergoing testing at Keystone Compliance, a military certified facility. And it's listed by the Department of Homeland Security. See for yourself. EMP Shield. There it is. I've put the link up for you. It makes complete sense, especially now. Okay? Okay. Now, I become so enraged when I see people on cable news and elsewhere, and I see somebody try to advance something, but for the most part, it is not. I want you to imagine this. Imagine you have been, somebody that you know has been in a coma for, I don't know, much if not their entire life. And they come to and they're completely fine, and you're trying to catch this person up. You're trying to say, this is what happened. This is what you missed. This is what you missed. Okay, what is it? This thing called World War II. World War II? Yeah. What was that about? Now imagine this. You're trying to explain to some guy who just woke up. Okay, you had Russia, America, and France, and Germany, and Britain, and Italy, and Japan. And there was this guy in Germany. Well, he looked like Chaplin. And well, let me go through it. This person will look at you like you have lost your mind. No, this happened. No, truly. Yeah, okay. You can't just look at what we do on a regular basis. Try to explain this, and you won't believe it's happening. That's why if somebody says something to you about something extra planetary or something as simple as love and whatever, if you've never heard this before, it sounds insane. And I'm telling you, it is the most fascinating thing. Have you had a broken heart? Have you ever heard of a broken heart? Is there such a thing as a broken heart? Have you ever heard of this? The broken heart syndrome? Is there anything to this? And why is it? What does that mean? A broken heart? That's just kind of an expression. Is it really? Do you know whether it's true? Are you familiar with this? How many times have you looked this up? It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. People don't look words up. They don't look it up. Have you heard about a cardiomyopathy called broken heart syndrome? Has it ever... There is a wonderful phrase. Let me try to give you this. This is cardiomyopathy. Now, this is the... Where is this word? Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. This is a certain form of cardiomyopathy. This kills me because for years, people have been talking about this. It's called the Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Takotsubo. It's named after an octopus trap. And that's not all that's unusual about this. Takotsubo. This is from the Harvard Medical School. Harvard Health Publishing, excuse me. Years of gender-based research have shown that in matters of the heart, sex differences abound. One striking example is a temporary heart condition known as Takotsubo, Takotsubo, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, also known as broken heart syndrome. First described in 1990 in Japan. More than 90% of reported cases are in women ages 58 to 75. 90%. Research suggests that up to 5% of women suspect of having a heart attack actually have this disorder. And, for example, features of Takotsubo cardiomyopathy: chest pain, shortness of breath, EKG abnormalities, no evidence of coronary artery obstruction, movement abnormalities in the left ventricle, ballooning of the left ventricle, recovery within a month. Think about this. It is the weakening of the left ventricle, usually the result of severe emotional or physical stress, such as sudden illness, the loss of a loved one, a serious accident, or a natural disaster. This is for years. People would say, oh, there's no such thing as that. And they never looked it up. They never spent a second. Haven't you ever seen pictures of elephants when there's a dead calf or whatever, and they mourn, and perhaps it might be a bit anthropomorphic? Do you know what happens with cetacean animals, bottlenose dolphin, orcas? They travel 500 miles a day in pods that are from life. You're born into the pod, and that's it. You stay there. It's the most unique. And they have a Paralympic system, the ability to feel loss that humans cannot even comprehend. And that's why when you separate them, and that's why when you have, if you've ever seen the movie, documentary Blackfin, it's something. And their loss, the sense of loss, it's debilitating. It's just, and there's nothing physical except the psychological that actually destroys. Think about this. There have been many, many examples of psychological distress that affect people. PTSD, war, loss, and it affected people's depression. But this is something that actually has a somatic, a physical change, cardiomyopathy, an actual physical change to the heart based upon loss. You don't think that's something? Doesn't that blow your mind? Loss? Just physical. And all of a sudden. And the smarter you are, the more you recognize the loss. The smarter you are to be able to appreciate the absence of something. Oh, it's wild. I read something the other day that said that people who are born blind have a virtual 0 chance of getting schizophrenia. I love this stuff. See, I would explain this to my alien friend. That's what love is today. You go to the Hallmark store and you see these pictures and, they got cards. I like cards. They're beautiful. I like that. I like ceremony. I like it. But what is it really about? Here's the ultimate test. Let's assume that you've been married for a long period of time. Somebody comes to you and says, listen, just found out you're not married. There's no record of you being married. You are not married. If you were to walk out right now, there's no divorce, no common law marriage in this country. You are under no legal obligation. Most people would say, we'll get married right off. That doesn't mean anything. Some people might run, but very few would. Why is that? Why do we need people? What does this love thing provide? What is it? What are you constantly, are you in love all the time? You're running remember that when you're running in the field in a slow motion and you jump, what does it mean? Are you doing that all the time? No. Many times people aren't even together. They don't work together. They don't see each other that much, but they're in love. They're tethered by this. It's the most amazing, truly amazing thing that we as human beings do. And don't ever let anybody get in the way of that. Not a government, not a culture, not a song, not a movement, not a political party, nothing. Nothing gets in the way of that. It's critical. It's critical. It's what makes us great as humans. Sorry. People say, oh, you're so romantic. Maybe. Maybe. What's wrong with that? I can think of a lot worse things to be than that. Now, let me change real quick. Just talked to a dear friend of ours. True story. I'm not telling you just because of this. Young lady, in good shape, sicker than a dog. And why are dogs sick? I don't understand why we say that. Sicker than a dog. Anyway, she's sick. Not COVID. Not that RSV. Don't know what it is. It's the flu. It's influenza. Remember the flu? Plain old flu. She'll be fine, of course, but it's just pow. You know that feeling you get when you start to get ill? You get like a cold, I'm getting a sniffle. But then you get that, wait a minute, I'm getting it. First you feel it and that your throat feels kind of funny. And then you get that weird, oh no. It's psychic. Meaning, not that you're, but it's kind of a mental fog. Well, there's a lot of that going on right now, my friends. And that's why it makes a lot of sense for you, because I know you're not eating right, to make sure you and your family have everything. So right now, you can get 15% off a Z-Stack for yourself and your kids by using this link right here. It makes complete and total sense. You need all the help you can get. Can you think of any reason why not? No, especially when you don't eat right. It's got vitamin C, it's got zinc, it's got vitamin D, and quercetin, which is a flavonoid, which is one of those bioavailable phytonutrients, which are just, This is why people say vegetables and plants, and this is the reason. Not because they're, Ewell Gibbons. You don't even know who. You'll ask your parents. Anyway, this is it. Z-Stack, do yourself a favor and get it right now. Because you need to keep the immune system up. Because you are being bombarded between everything, up to and including broken hearts and depression and the life that we go through. You need the help you can get. And finally, let me just say this. If you do find yourself at the end of the day feeling kind of, what better way than to celebrate your sense than with MyPillow. MyPillow, they have been with us since day one, and we love them. MyPillow right now, use promo code Lionel, and you can receive a free gift. That's right, a free gift. Tautological nonetheless, but still, it is a free gift. And you can go and check out all of the accoutrements available for sleep and the like. And I ask you, and I beseech, implore, and entreat you to check out our dear friends at MyPillow.com, especially the slippers, off the charts. Go to MyPillow.com/Lionel or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Lionel or call 800-645-4960. 5. All right, my friends. One more thing I want to tell you. This being Valentine's Day. And this is a very important thing. And I never want to have people confuse what I'm saying, but it's true. Again, I think you've been able to tell, find more interest in the way humans react to something than in the storyline. I'm more interested in how you react to the story versus the story. And what everybody loves to say right now is that the reason why something is in order to distract you. Well, the reason why we got this in the news is to distract you. They love to say this. It's a meme. Hey, did you hear what happened? What? I don't know, but somebody saw a winged Pegasus over Alabama. You know why, don't you? Why? To distract you. From what? The other stuff. Huh? That's what everybody says. That's their reaction. It's a distraction. That's the best you can do? Yep. It's a distraction. Really? Yep. And that's why I do not and cannot watch cable news. I can't. It's the worst. It's the worst. Have you ever been or had the joy of being around a little kid, maybe when your kids were little, or a grandkid, who asks you questions? Like, why is the sky blue? Oh, God. Oh, be still my heart. Yes, go with that, go. Ask the question of the most obvious. Go. Yes, we're on to something. The issue is not, look what's flying over America. Look at the reaction to what's flying over America. Why are people reacting to that? That's what's interesting, not this. Oh my God, I love that. Oh God. Look at what's happening. Look at how people react. Watch the graphics. I would love to talk to my hypothetical friend from outer space. I would say, look at this. Do you see that right there? Look at this graphics. Let me stop right there. This is called a graphics package. You see that? Yeah. This is written by somebody in a TV or a studio. He's the graphics guy. And whenever they talk about anything involving space or outer space, they put this picture of this, I don't know, they call them critters, this one face all the time. Doesn't look like you. I don't know, but that's what they think it is. Out of the visible universe is 15 billion light years. And that's just visible. It's here. And we could have multiverses. And yet they think out of this entire scheme of things, it's this. And they use it all the time. But they use it mockingly. It's a joke. It like lets them off the hook. Really? Yeah. Why do they do that? I don't know. Well, I give you a reason for it, but I don't know. Isn't that something? Are people scared? Absolutely. It hides their fear. They don't want to address this. They don't want to address this because the moment reality hits them, things could get different. But what's interesting to note, the stuff that is the most important, nobody talks about. I was talking about, I'm sure we have friends here who are adopted. What does that feel like? How does that feel like? You were raised by loving parents, and then maybe later on you're found and you were adopted. Do you feel abandoned? Did it leave a kind of a sour taste, like nobody wanted me? Or does it matter? Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. Is it like a divorce but worse? And what's going to be the implications of now with genetic testing? You're going to find more people who find out not only that they were adopted, but who their parents are. So let's talk about this in Broken Heart. It's the most fascinating subject there is. I promise you, if a cable news subject covered it, it would be maybe 5 minutes. Maybe. Because the people who cover things from cable news are people who are hacks, who are just trying their best. They were a news director at some station in the Twin Cities or whatever it is, and they moved over here, and then they became over here, and they knew about sales and program news directing, and they're living this 1950s programming kind of Fred Friendly, Bill Paley kind of a world today, and they don't realize that it's over. They don't understand it. They're still given this framework. They don't understand it. It could be one of the most interesting. And let me tell you something. Listen carefully. Do you know where the future is? Here. Look what people can come up with in a bedroom with a camera and their bed behind them. They can put together the best documentaries, the best theories, the best discussions, the best. Wow. You'll never see that on TV. No time, no audience, and no money. Because they've got quick. It's about selling advertising and putting as little information in as you can to justify still calling it a news broadcast. If they could put in no news, they would do it. Believe me. That's where that is today. And they don't see it. Certain things change. You got to recognize when certain things change. There is a genius out there that many people would love to say. They say, whoa, what? I want to hear about this love thing. I never thought about that. Continue. There are more of those people than you can imagine, but they've never been spoken to before. Let me leave it at that. My friends, today I have coming out a newsletter that is it is a beaut. This one's called the Stupor Bowl. Stupor. Bread and circuses. Oh, it is beautiful. Here is the link. Please do me the favor in the honor of signing up for this right there. But just put it there. This link up. You'll be so happy you did. Also, if you're in the world of Twitter, you can find me there. And speaking of Mrs. L, my love, not my better half, my half. You know where the half comes from? It's very interesting. Very interesting. But anyway, first, let me give you this. This is her Twitter. Please, she is a warrior. A warrior. And she is out there lecturing and helping and talking about it constantly, making parents in particular more aware of digital and real-time safety. This is her newsletter. Please do yourself. Please read hers. It's so good. I'm so proud of her. And I'm going to leave you with this. I'm not saying it just because it's gratuitous, but it's true. I hope you find out. I hope you have the love of your life. And I hope you find, if you haven't already, your mate. And I hope you're as happy a tenth as I am. And I'm going to say that. I'm not just being gratuitous about this. You want to find something or somebody who makes you better. You want to make somebody who doesn't just doesn't amuse you, which is nice too, but who makes you better. And that can come in so many different packages. Who can maybe save your life, refocus your attention, can make you better. And the greatest thing in the world, the greatest, and I know people don't have this, is to find somebody that you find interesting, that you like, who's your friend. You like being with them over anybody else. You don't ever want to go to some hunting trip, which is fine. You don't want to get away from your wife or your husband. No. You actually want to talk about stuff. What you find interesting, he or she finds interesting. To be from the same, relative to the same time frame, era, so that your frame of reference is the same. I don't know how people from different countries do it. God bless you. But to be able to say things where you're not, I don't know. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter, but you know where you miss the nuance? But if it works, it works. But if you can find that, it's a completion. It's the chiral opposite. You know what chiral is, right? Hands. They don't superimpose, but they're mirror images. And they also do that, which is a different story. But anyway, that's chirality. I don't want to get too deep about this. I love her, and I hope you find somebody that makes you as happy. Okay? I mean that. Because there is something. Because remember, if more people were happy, more people were healthy, but more people had some kind of a romantic connection, whatever it is, and they come in many, many configurations and permutations, the world would be a better place. Because one of the reasons why things are so screwed up is because people are so miserable. And that's true. Sorry. All right, my friends, have a great and glorious day. Thank you so, so much for watching us and for being a part of this. We love you. We love you madly. Happy Valentine's to you. Day, rather. Happy VD to you. Have a great and glorious day. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.